and welcome to another episode of Pleasure Explosion. I'm your host this week, Ashley Hobley. Joining me today, Thomas Marshall.
Good evening.
Glad to have your full attention.
You certainly
Also
have
joining
that.
me, Nicholas Pryor.
Good evening.
Good evening. Put that on the show. Joining me as well, Jack Cruz.
Plat.
And of course, joining himself, Jono Peck.
It's your boy.
Guys, how are we doing this week?
Pretty good. Pretty warm.
Pretty good.
We're doing.
Down here.
We're doing. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
so I just died on that last boss, so you actually
That's one
have
way to end it.
100% attention now.
Oh, it's a shame. It's a damn shame.
First time I tried, so I don't feel too bad.
Oh, look, you know, you live and learn, right?
Indeed.
Mistakes
You'll
are
get better.
made. What will be, will be. It is what it is.
It is. Business is business.
Business is business.
Whatever happens, happens.
Whatever happens, happens.
Speaking of things happening, you guys are all in committed relationships.
Wow.
Word.
Yeah?
What a segue!
I know. That didn't happen by accident. Yeah, so I thought it'd be cool to have a talk to you guys about relationships, specifically your current relationship, seeing as you're all have somebody.
We're all
not
taken.
alone.
Everybody.
Sorry,
needs
ladies and gentlemen at home who are
somebody.
hoping to date one of these four fine gentlemen.
Sorry, ladies. Taken. Spoken
I'm
for.
and
actually
gentlemen.
polyamorous, so you're all welcome.
Oh, man.
Okay, so let's just start with an easy one. Nick, how did you and Stacey meet? Because you've discussed it briefly on another episode, but you kind of left it on a cliffhanger where you were drunk and unconscious, and I don't understand where it went from there.
So you want me to start from the top?
Yeah, just start from the top and
Right.
let's go.
I met her on... I first talked for a while on a dating site called Plenty of Fish. And then one Easter Thursday, I went out drinking with some friends.
Just
of
one
mine
Easter
from Perth.
How is it one Easter Thursday? You would say one Thursday.
Well, he has
If it was
experienced
specifically
20-something.
Easter Thursday,
It was
you would say it was Easter Thursday of a particular year, would you not?
It was one
was
Easter
great.
Thursday in the past. Went out drinking with some friends and ended up at a guy that I played football with, and we were texting, and like I was too shy to meet up, so he took my phone off me and said, "Oh, we'll meet you at this club," which was down the road from his apartment in town. And then I was extremely drunk, and we met up at a nightclub called Fanny's,
Of course you did.
the City's nightclub in Newcastle at the
Nice.
time.
Nice.
And then hit it off there. We went back to my mate's apartment. I passed out drunk with a shirt off. Then on what was it?
Easter Sunday?
No, it was Easter Saturday. I went to an
Okay.
engagement
One Easter
party.
Saturday.
I went to a fancy dress engagement party and invited Stacey along with me. And then we went on a few more dates after that, and then on April 25th, I asked her out to go steady.
To go steady.
To go
That's hot.
steady.
Those were your
Nice.
specific words?
Hey? No,
I want to
no.
go steady?
No, I don't actually remember the specific words, to be honest. And then, a year later, on Anzac Day again, I proposed, so...
Okay,
Nice
well,
one. You keeping those public holidays free for special occasions.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's the way.
So how did you propose?
Throws a ring across the room. Like, oi!
No, I'd had the ring bought and everything in my pocket and whatnot, so we went on a picnic because the first Anzac Day we went to a dawn service, and then we went to went for a picnic up at in a Shoal Bay, I think. So we went back there like 1 year on, and I proposed to her there. Like we're there having a picnic, so I said close her eyes, and then when she opened them, I had the ring out and all that shit.
Was it something you discussed before, or was it out of the blue? Or
No, it was just out of the
Was
blue.
she expecting?
No, she wasn't. She wasn't pregnant at the time.
How long is this after you started dating?
A year.
1 year, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Nice one.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, I just knew she was the one, so I thought, why wait?
Yeah. Well, Jono, you've got a similar time frame, I think. So, how did you meet Hannah? Yeah.
Yeah, so I apparently met her at church one day.
Apparently.
Yeah, apparently. We didn't
Did she
talk,
tell you
really.
this? Or
No, like, I kind of remember it, like someone saying, "Oh, hey, this is Hannah, this is Jono, whatever." And I was like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" And then kind of just turning around and continuing my conversation or something. I'm pretty sure that was her. Anyway, like it was probably a month or 2 months later that we actually talked for the first time, and that was the first time I'd seen her since the previous occasion. And it was at church again through a mutual friend, and we I was running the young adult program at the time, like the social side of things, so slyly asked for a phone number for those purposes, but really just wanted a number, and started putting in some work, and I asked her to come around and watch a movie, watch Shawshank Redemption, and went for like a walk to the beach. And yeah, there was like some like moments where I wasn't sure if she was keen or not.
I love that you picked Shawshank Redemption as the movie to watch.
Are you still sure that she's keen or not?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's keen now because I asked her. Yeah, but no, there was a night that we were driving together to this like progressive. No, it wasn't a progressive dinner. It was just like a games night or something, like with people from the church.
what's a progressive dinner?
A progressive dinner is like you have like an entree at my house, and then we drive to Jack's house down the road and have the main course, and then we all, like a big group of people, like 15, 20, whatever, go to Ashley's house, and we've got dessert there. And
That is so strange.
That sounds horrible.
Is it like a church thing?
I don't think it's exclusively a church thing. It's good fun because it means you don't have to prepare food for like.
It's not all on one person.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not all
you
on
can-
one person, and you get
You're not
Probably
doing
easy.
45 courses. 3 people are doing 15 each.
You could, but I guess from my point, it would be easier to bring the food to the one location than transport the people to each location for the food.
it's just fun.
Yeah,
It's
no,
just more fun, I guess.
I'm making fun. I'm poking.
It's
making
an
fun.
activity.
I had never heard of it before.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
Anyway, it wasn't that. It was a games night. But we rocked up together, and Hannah was all nervous about us rocking up together because people would start gossiping or whatever. And I was like, hey, I don't care. They can say what they want. Because I had just told her in the car, by the way, I'm not like giving you all this attention as a friend. I'm interested.
put the pressure on her.
And she was like, yeah, I know.
Should get your way with her.
She was interested as well. So that was kind of like, okay, so we're not just hanging out here. And then it was like, I think I invited her around to meet mum and dad and have dinner. And then after, because I didn't live with mum and dad, but they were pretty close by still. So I was hanging out with them a fair bit and wanted them to meet her. And then that night I was like, I think I dropped her off back at her house. And she was like, I don't know. Pretty sure she wanted to kiss me. She said she wanted to kiss me, but we weren't dating yet. And I was like, I'm not kissing you unless you're like my girlfriend. So she's like, all right, see you later. And then I was like, oh my God. And
Catch you later, bro.
yeah, and then as I was leaving, she was like, actually, come back. Okay, I give in. And then we had our first kiss.
Played a
That was
long
quite
game.
nice.
I like it.
Yeah.
That's cute.
That's the way to get 'em.
She couldn't resist, basically. And yeah, so that was how we started dating, and then it was pretty quick after that. It was only 6 months later proposed on our 6-month anniversary, and another
You're
5
moving
months
a bit
after
quick,
that.
aren't you?
Yeah, 5 months after that we were married. So we were married within 11 months of officially dating.
He doesn't fuck around.
What was the time period on the first meet and hang out until
Yeah.
officially dating? Did it
I
all
reckon
go
it
down
was like-
in like 2 weeks? Or
It was like a month probably of
Yeah.
like friendship and sussing each other out.
Stalking her
Sizing
Facebook
each
and
other
whatnot. Sizing each
Yeah,
other up.
pretty much.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
So
cool.
how did you propose?
So on our 6-month anniversary, it was we went out to dinner at a really nice place that we had our first like official date, and then we went to a lookout over the beach, Logan's Beach down in Warrnambool, where people, if you've ever been there to see the whales, that's where people go, and it's just a really nice spot. And Hannah loves the beach, so it wasn't quite the weather to go down on the sand. So we were up there looking out at the ocean and pulled the ring out of my wallet, which she saw me do, apparently.
Oh, no.
She said she saw me take something out of my wallet. She's like, okay. Because she'd been suspecting it for a while.
Condoms.
What?
Never
2
keep
months
them
in?
Never keep them in your wallet,
2 months
John.
in.
There's only been 6 months. How long could she have been expecting it for?
Well, she thought I was going to do it on our 5-month anniversary for some reason.
Wow.
But we
Forgot
talked
how many months in a year.
really, really quickly. We had conversations with our parents about, hey, what would you guys think if we got married? And we're pretty sure it's going to happen. So just kind of giving them some warning. So we had definitely talked about it a lot already by then.
Wow. Was anyone witness to the proposal?
There was a guy running up and down the stairs, like a athlete training, kind of just exercising guy, and that was kind of annoying. I wanted kind of like complete serenity, but that guy was kind of screwing that up.
Did he clap at least?
I don't think he actually saw it.
He's like, God, I'm just trying to exercise. I've got these two people here.
Two people trying to propose to each other. Jeez.
Cramping my style.
Just comes up next to you. Oh, check out the serenity.
Yeah,
It's so serene. What do you reckon, you two?
I had it in my wallet because I didn't trust anything else. Like, where else? Like, I didn't want to just have it in my pocket. I didn't want the whole box because that would be too bulky.
I feel like you'd permanently just be checking your pocket to make sure
it's
still
like
in there.
just open up the coin thing, it's still there, close it again.
Did your ring fit her when you got it?
I think it did. I can't remember.
Yeah. Mine was just small. I had to get a bigger one.
Yeah. Oh, no. I think I had
Cheap bastard.
sussed out her size before that. Yeah. I picked out the ring myself too. I'm pretty proud of that.
Yeah, she liked it.
She liked it. Yeah.
Awesome.
So that's the story.
That's the story. Mm-hmm. Let's move on to Jack, who I think has also shared a fair bit of his relationship with Sally. But how did you two meet and whatever?
How did me and Sal meet? Well, I used to work in in hospitality or whatever. Worked in a restaurant in Rye, back down home where I grew up, and I basically, long story short, I used to work for Sal's mum. So, Sal's mum was my boss. She owned the restaurant that I worked in, and I met Sal through there. She would come down, on the weekends or whatever, to have a drink and dinner or whatever, and catch up with her mum and her sister, or would come down and work when it was busy to help her mum out and that kind of thing. And so we just sort of met through there. It was a weird kind of thing that sort of progressed from a point of it was weird. So it was when we first started talking, it was just mucking around and having fun, and she was sort of part of the work group. So we would all go out on Sunday, Sunday after work drinks, because that's the end of the week, and it's sort of Sunday's the end of the work week for hospitality basically. Monday is our Saturday, or was our Saturday. I don't work in the industry anymore. And so she would hang down on the Sunday and come for Sunday drinks and that kind of thing with the crew, and we sort of became friends through that. And then it sort of turned into this joke. It was we would flirt and kind of thing, and I would make a joke that to Lynn, her mum, oh, Sal's my. I used to call it my future ex-wife. This whole thing, it was just this ongoing joke. And then it sort of progressed from mucking around, playful, fun sort of thing to sort of oh, okay, there's something sort of going on here, and people talking ooh, Sal likes you, and ooh, Jack likes you to Sal, and that kind of thing, and we just sort of hooked up one night. But after work drinks kind of thing, went back to friend's place, we're down the pub or whatever, went back to a friend's place, and the party sort of kicked on, and we just we hooked up, and which was great. 2 thumbs up. Not we just kissed. Sorry, we just kissed. That was, slow down, everyone pump the brakes. We just kissed, and it sort of progressed from there. It was hard because I worked for her mum, so her mum was my boss. So we were friendly, but we weren't friends really at that point in time. So it was sort of this secret that had to be kept from Sal's mum for like the whole time, and the whole family basically. Well, like her sister and that knew, but we had to keep it secret from Sal. Anyway, so this continued on for a few months, like just.
Did you say you had to keep it secret from Sal? It's her
No,
mum.
yeah,
Sal.
Sal.
He meant to say Sal's
Sal-
mum.
Sorry, Sal's
No.
mum. Yeah, sorry. We had to keep it secret from Sal's mum.
Don't
And this
tell
went on
Sal
for-
that I kissed her.
Well, after there's
She was very drunk.
there is there anyway. So this went like we were sort of seeing each other on the sly for like a couple of months. Similar thing. She'd hang out, and then we'd all go away from like the work, and then we would end up sort of together at the end of the night and that kind of thing. And one night, like her story was she was staying at, so everyone was in on it. Like everybody knew except for Sal's mum, and everyone was like, everyone just keep it secret. We don't like it's just going to be awkward. And the story was, Sal was like, oh, okay, I'm going out and I'm staying with Tash, who was a girl we worked with, but really she was staying at my place. Anyway, so we all went out, had a few drinks, and then we all went our separate ways. Sal came back to my place, everyone else went to the pub or whatever, continued on with the night. Anyway, Tash, who Sal was meant to be staying with, in talking marks, went out and got absolutely like paralytic and just no-showed work the next day. And so Sal's mum, the next morning, waiting for Tash to come into work with Sal, because Sal was staying with Tash, Tash just never rocked up. So like when Sal rocked up, she's like, "Where's Tash?" And she's like, "Oh." She's like, "Where were you last night?" And she just had to spill the beans. And I remember waking up that morning and like rolling over, and because Sal had got up and left earlier in the morning, and looking at my phone, and she's like, just text me. She's like, "Mum knows." I'm like, oh fuck. And I'm like,
So how was the next conversation you had with Sal's mum?
well, I had to work later that afternoon, and it was just me and Sal's mum, Lynn. I'm going to refer to her as Lynn from here on out. So it's just me and her on at that time. And like, it was probably like the most awkward couple of hours of my life. Just coming in and be like, "Oh, hey, Lynn. Oh, hi, Jack." And it was just, we just didn't
talk?
she knew and I knew, and there was no conversation had. And it was just like,
Should have went and called her mum. Hey, mum.
Did she have a problem with you guys together, or just was it more like the deceit,
Secrecy?
and that kind of thing?
yeah, I mean, I'm sure at the start there would have been a bit like, everyone's protective over their kids and that kind of thing. Would have been like, "Oh, what's this guy doing? And he's my employee, and what's." And then, but she was like, almost instantly, we passed that bridge, and she was always really cool and always welcoming. It was pretty much straight away. It was, welcomed me into their house, into their family, and like other people in the family, sort of. And they've said like we're all like, I've been together with Sal for 7 years now. We had conversations at the start where people were like, "What are you doing? Like, we don't think you're not gonna be around. Like, so for Sal, for the listeners, Sal's a bit older than I am. So people were sort of like, and I was 21 at the time when we first got together. So the whole thing was like, this isn't gonna last. It's just this young kid. He's just trying to have some fun, blah blah blah." And I was like, and I was just going with the flow. I'm like, I like Sal. Like, I'm not saying nothing's ever gonna happen, but I'm not like saying that we're going to be together forever. Like, I don't know. Like, I like her and we're together at the moment. And that was sort of where I was at with it. As a 21-year-old guy, sort of like, just go with the flow kind of thing. And but Sal's mum was always great. Like, welcoming me into the family straight away. Was always really like, she's like, "Oh, I'm so glad that I started this restaurant. You were able to meet Jack through there." And it's funnily enough, Sal's sister, her partner, she met through the restaurant as well. He didn't work there, but he has restaurants, and anyway. So they were always great. And the good thing was I never had to do the like meeting the mum thing because I already knew her. So that was like 2 thumbs up for that. So yeah, that's kind of how we met.
That's awesome. Right.
I thought so.
Tom.
How
Can
long?
I ask
sorry.
Jack a
hang
question
on.
Yeah.
before we move on?
Yeah, go
actually?
If you like, yeah, sure.
Of course.
So, I guess marriage isn't as high a priority for you as it might be for me and Nick. So,
Yep.
without having gone down that path, what was the moment that you knew that you guys were going to be together, forever? Like, what was the big decision that was like, okay, this is it. This isn't just a girlfriend. It's my partner. It's the mum of my, going to be the mum of my future children. And
Well,
all
it
that
was
kind of thing.
not quite that extreme in that,
Yeah.
mother of my child, because I think I've told this story before on the podcast, but I put off children as long as I possibly could.
Yeah.
But I'll never forget the moment and I had that moment where I was like, actually, I really want to be with this girl for like ever. And, went and saw Linkin Park in the city, and it was sort of this funny thing. Like, she doesn't like Linkin Park. She doesn't like any like rock, that kind of music. But she went to I was going to the concert with a couple of mates, and then her friend worked at Rod Laver Arena, so she got tickets to the concert to go to the concert that I was at. It was just this whole weird thing. We met up for drinks beforehand, and it was sort of this weird. We were kind of together, but we weren't really together, and it was sort of like back and forth. And it was we were seeing each other, but it wasn't like fully serious, I don't think, at that point. But anyway, so went to the concert. Saw each other beforehand, but not afterwards. I went out with like the boys afterwards, and I think she went home. And we were like out at the casino and fucking around, drinking and having a good time as you do. And they're like, oh, we're going back to the car. We're gonna sleep, and then we'll get up in the morning and drive. And I'm like, fuck that. I don't want to bloody, sleep in the car. I'm like, I wonder if Sal will pick me up. I'm like, I'll see if she'll come pick me up. And I text her, and I'm like, and I'm not expecting it to get a no kind of thing, because what a ridiculous request at 2 a.m, be like, hey, come and pick me up from the city. I'm sick and tired. Like, I'm over. Like, I'm done with the night. Come and grab me. And I'm like, I'll try my luck. And she did. And she was like, yep, I'll be there soon, kind of thing. I was like, oh, fuck, she must really like me. I'm like, hold on, I really like her too. I'm like, huh. Anyway, she picked me up, and like we went back to her place or whatever, and I was like, I remember like lying in bed that night and just being like, yep, I do. Like, I'm pretty sure I love this chick. Like, I want to be with her for ever, I guess, until she gets sick of me. So yeah, that was the moment.
That's cool.
In my mind, I'm just imagining you thinking that with every Uber driver and taxi driver.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Wow, this Uber driver came and picked me up. That's so nice.
Yeah. Get on the local, get on the bus.
Be together forever.
Yeah.
Okay, what about you, Tom? Because I don't think I've heard of how you and Claire have met before.
Yeah, so it's a story, I guess.
Good.
I'm sure that it is.
That will make for good content then.
We've actually known each other for quite a long time when I sort of think back on it. So, in my first year of uni, which would have been 2008, and I think it still exists today, there was this like pre-Tinder website called Tagged, and basically it would show you a picture and you would like yes, no these people in a, like a swipe left, swipe right kind of way. And like me and friends of mine would, I don't know, when you're like 18 or 19, do it a bit boozed on the weekend just for a laugh, and you never think anything would ever come from it. It must be the case that Claire and I both hit yes or something like that on each other, if that's how it worked, because I don't really remember this service too well. As I say, only ever used it when drunk. Shot a couple of messages back and forth. I remember that was when I was back in Hamilton at the end of the year. So like after uni finished, I went home.
How many years ago was this?
So this is 2008. So
oh wow,
yeah, 9 years ago.
Years. Yeah,
probably nearly 9 years ago at this point. And like we had 2 or 3 messages, maybe a handful of messages back and forth in this thing. Like, oh, look at that. I didn't expect anyone would ever say yes and send a message or something like that. I think we both kind of said, I have no idea who initiated contact now. And that was like her end of high school year. And she was moving down to Wellington for uni, and I was going back to uni that year, and I think must have mentioned that I worked in Molly's, a bar in town. Yeah, and then just one evening when I was at work, her and her sister came in, and she sort of like rocks up to the bar. I know you. Do you know who I am? I was like, yes, I do. Have a drink. And just sort of entertained her and her sister for a bit, I guess. I think that must have happened a couple of times, so that was like early 2009. and then we kind of fell apart actually, and I don't know
Fell
how
apart
or, why.
or drifted or like
I don't know, just
fell
nothing
fell
quite-
apart sounds weird. Fell
Nothing-
out like
yeah.
didn't.
Well, nothing happened. Uni started, got busy, nothing came of it, and
Life
I
got in the
actually
way.
what's that?
Life got in the way.
Life got in the way. I got another girlfriend who I was with for like 3 years. And then I think it was actually about a week after I broke up with that girlfriend. It was St. Patrick's Day. Obviously, working
Just one,
at the
just one
biggest
St.
Irish,
Patrick's Day.
working at the biggest Irish bar in town, and Claire and her friend came in. And I served them, and she's like, basically the same thing again. I know who you are. Do you remember me? Oh. Yeah, and I think she actually said something like, "You didn't text me back." So
Ooh,
that was
Is this about
never.
4
They
years
never
later?
forget. They never forget.
this
You
is
still
this
me
is
a
like
text message from 2009.
yeah, this is probably about 3.5 years later or something like that. Like a
Wow,
yeah.
yeah.
That's I literally just remembered that then, and trying to like recount the story. It was, you didn't text me back, and like newly single, I sort of went, well, let me change that. Give me your phone number, and I
Nice.
will text you back this time, or some probably unpracticed, relatively painful like line like that. Yeah, so that happened. She left me a number. Texted back and forth a bit, ended up like friends on Facebook and chatting back and forth. And then like over the course of the next year, we became really good friends. She would often be coming in to see me at work, or we'd go out and get lunches and all that sort of stuff. And like, I think slowly I became more interested in.
So how did you manage to avoid the friend zone in that year?
Well, I probably was in the friend zone. No, I'd say definitely was.
And you whipped it out,
but-
and she was like, "Yeah."
Oh, you went there.
That's not.
It worked
quite how
on
it worked.
Jack. It worked on Jack.
Yeah, it worked with me.
Yeah, Jack's advice is always show your dick.
We'll
Is
Um,
that how you got
Yeah.
Sal?
Yeah, so no, I probably was in the friend zone for quite a while, and so it all kind of came to a head. And
Yeah.
I should probably remember, like early in the year 4 years ago, like end of January, start of February time, which is around about when everybody moves house in Wellington. Like year-long leases all run out.
The annual
You
Wellington
all get them
house
at the
move.
same
Yeah.
time?
The migration.
Not the same day, but
The annual Wellington migration.
there's sort of like a 6-week period, like towards the start of the uni year, where a whole bunch of leases expire and everybody's shifting house. And she was caught without a house for like a week and a half or 2 weeks or something like that, moving with a friend. And so, like, relatively innocently,
Yeah, right.
she
Relative.
she came to stay at mine. As I say, it all sort of came to a head, and discussions and kisses and whatnot, which actually hadn't happened at all up until that point. And then it was Valentine's Day of, must be 2013, because that's 7 minus 4. Like we went on
Maths.
our first official date and were together from that point. I managed to, like, I was supposed to be working, but managed to weasel my way out of work. Somebody covered my shift so that I could take her out to dinner. And 4.5 years later, we own an apartment and a dog together.
So you
That's
lived
great.
together before you started dating.
Sort of.
It's technically sort of yes.
I think the way Jono wanted to
But,
phrase
like-
that is, so you've been living in sin.
No.
No, well,
Well, still living in sin.
still
curious-
living in sin. So
I'm
that,
curious how it went, like, if living together escalated, how serious it was, because you lived together, then you started dating, and then you were, like, already moved in together.
no,
Or
so
whatever.
she like, it must have been like 4 or 5 days or something like that she stayed at my place,
Right,
and it
okay.
all like that really sort of kicked the ball rolling. And then she moved into the flat with her friend and wasn't living with me, but
Okay.
the ball was kind of rolling at that point.
Sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think there was a year where we lived separately but were together, and then basically the end of the lease in that house.
The migration period has happened.
The migration period again came, and instead of migrating to another flat for a year, she migrated into my house.
It's a question for you, Tom.
Shoot.
Is there no places in Wellington that have longer than 12-month leases?
I don't. I don't think that for a fixed term they don't do longer than 12 months, but
Really?
it can sort of
Does
like
no one
roll
ex-
into a recurring.
No one extends their
month to
lease.
I was going to say,
They
just
just
a follow-up
people-
question. Does no one extend their
Yeah,
lease? They just
people
everyone just
do, but
moves
when
in
you're
12
like
months?
19 or 20, you probably fall out with a bunch of people in your flat, and you realise the ones that don't
People
do the
move,
dishes, and you all kind of move around inside friend groups and stuff.
I just imagine like big musical chairs and the street with all this
They'll
stuff.
just scramble.
Where am I going to go?
It's basically what it is, like with all the uni students. Yeah,
That's great.
There's sort of like suburbs and apartment buildings and things that are all just basically uni accommodation, and people are chopping and changing all the time.
Yeah.
On the topic of living together, how long before you lived together with Hannah, Jono? Were you already married, or?
Well, yeah, after we got married, yeah. We bought a house together, and I moved into it like 2 or 3 months before we got married, and then she moved in after the marriage. We did it the good Christian way.
Attaboy.
That is so
As
odd
expected.
to me. I'd never hear of that happening these days.
Yeah.
What
Well,
about
old
you
school.
and Jack? How long before you guys moved in with your significant others?
Oh, I thought you were talking to Nick and Jack.
Yeah, I was like,
yeah,
Nick and
we-
Jack.
Oh,
we-
yeah,
Nick and Jack, sorry.
Jack. When did you move in together?
Well,
Remember that gay
Oh,
marriage
just
is
gonna-
still
we're gonna
illegal
break
in
we lived
Australia.
together for about a couple of days.
we were going to break the news to you guys off air, but I guess there it is. Hey.
Yeah. Love you, babe.
Love you too. Mwah. Nick, you want to go?
Yeah. So what happened was, she lived in an apartment with a co-worker in town, and then she had a falling out with them. So I kind of moved in, and the co-worker moved out, and I took on half the lease. So I think, because I was staying there pretty much every day anyway, it would only be a couple of months after we started dating that we officially lived together.
Yeah, nice. Mine would have been... Oh, when would it have been? Probably just under 6 months. We moved in together, and it was sort of this weird. Like I was living at the time. I was living on the Mornington Peninsula, which was like an hour away from where she was in Cheltenham, and I was still working at the restaurant or whatever, and like hated it. Like hated working in hospitality. Hated the restaurant. Like it was killing me, and I was like, I need to get off the peninsula, which I also hated, and I need to do something with my life. And so I just started applying for jobs or whatever. Got a job in the city, like in the CBD, like my first sales job or whatever. And I was like, sweet, got this job. Don't really want to drive back and forth from Rosebud for an hour and a half every day. I'm like to Sal, I'm like, do you mind if I stay with you for a little bit until like I find my feet? And then it's just like, why don't you just move in with me? I'm like, all right, cool. And that was like 6 months in.
So that's like after the Lincoln Park thing?
Yeah, this is well after the Lincoln Park. Yeah, so we were like together for like a few months after the Lincoln, like probably nearly 6 months or whatever.
Like seriously, or on
No, we were like
You're-
boyfriend and girlfriend.
yeah,
Yeah, for like
not
6
on the sly.
No, not on the sly anymore. So this is like, so when the cat from like after the cat was out of the bag, we were probably still like on and off for a bit, and then so like it's probably like I don't know. It was all up. It was probably 8 or 9 months. So there was like 2 months of the back and forth on the sly kind of thing, and there was like solid 6 months of together, and then it was like we moved in.
Can I ask Tom the same question I asked Jack? Like you've bought a house and a dog with Claire, pretty big steps. Like was there a point where you realised ahead of that was something that you could do with this woman? Like a moment of this is the one for that kind of thing?
No, I don't know if there was a particular moment, but it just sort of, for me, kind of built over
Gradual,
the...
yeah.
Naturally
like,
happened.
So it's sort of the year of becoming really close friends before anything of that sort kind of happened, and then when it did happen, it was just like, this is pretty perfect, and I'm probably ready to tell you that I love you already, but you dance around it for a while because people are idiots and all that sort of stuff,
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
so
did you
it's-
say it first? Or did she say it first?
I don't even remember. Probably at that point in my life, I would have gotten drunk and said it a bunch of times. Yeah, but not sure. Yeah, I can't remember, to be honest.
No? What about the rest of you? When did you realize you're in love with your significant other, and when did you say it?
I've got a pretty sly story for this one.
Yeah.
Quite proud of, actually.
Yeah.
I'll go first so I can get one upped. It was not long after. It was not very ceremonious. We'd gotten takeaway Chinese and we went down to the riverbank and was eating it there. And after she made me eat a dim sum that I'd never eaten before, I said that I loved you.
No, that's cute. I'll go mine as well because mine's very much probably less impressive than
And
Nick's.
she said that was nice.
Oh, really?
No, she didn't.
She's
She
like,
said, "I
thanks,
love you."
mate.
Nicholas!
You got something in your teeth.
Yeah. First time I said it to Sal was after a fight, believe it or not. Like most good things in our relationship, after we have an argument. It was just, we were sitting out the front of my house when I was living in Rye, and we had an argument or whatever, and we were just sitting there, and I was like, I can't remember how, I sort of said it like, I didn't say like, I love you, I'm like, the girl that I love. I was talking like about her.
Talking to her in the third person.
Yeah, the girl that Jack Cruz loves.
Yeah.
No, not quite like that. But yeah, so it was very, it was just sort of like the moment that I said it.
Nice.
Very
Implied it, I think.
Yeah.
Implied it. Didn't actually say it.
She had to deduce that it was her. She was talking
Still on
Process of elimination.
She had to confirm it. Yeah.
Did she say it back like, well, the man that I love?
I can't remember if she said it back straight away. I don't think she did. So I think the whole thing with her was she was one of those people who like never says "I love you" to like anyone and
Right.
all that stuff.
Dylan.
Like Dylan, yeah. less. Not sort of like as I'm trying to say this in a way that's not insulting to Dylan. To like not his. I don't know. Yeah, she was like, I don't really say it. I've never really said it. It wasn't like a big thing for her. I don't think it's a big thing for Dylan either. Carry on. Move along.
Yeah, so with me, I no one wants to get rejected on that kind of thing, but I really felt strongly with Hannah and wanted her to be on the same page. I actually asked her, "Do you think we're falling in love?" Or do you think we're in love? I think I said, "Do you think we're in love?" Or something like that. And she was like, "Yeah, I think we do." It's like, or yeah, I think we are. And I was like, "Yeah, me too." Something like that. So it was kind of like
Was it like when you're like, "How you going?" Or "What are you up to?" Yeah, good, thanks.
it was in like the context of the moment. We're having like a nice discussion or talking about our relationship or something. But like she always makes fun of me for doing it that way because it was like I had nothing to lose because well, not that, but
she said no.
It's like if she said no, I'd be like, yeah, me. I'd be like, yeah, me neither. No.
Yeah, you suck.
But if she said, it's like she said yes. So it was like, yeah, it's almost like saying, "Are you in love with me?" without saying, "Are you in love with me?"
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So people listening
Did
out
you
there,
say,
feel free to
I love
use that
you
one.
after that?
Yeah, like after that, it was just like we just started saying it all the time, I guess.
Nice.
And now I probably say it like
Then she
every
said,
day.
"Psych."
Yeah.
Psych.
Yeah, I think I'm on an everyday. I don't like. I think for a while I was making a conscious effort to, but now it's just habit. Like,
Yeah. It's like, hey, love you.
getting home and how's your day and all that sort of stuff, and maybe sneak one in or before you go to
Sneak it
before
in.
you go to sleep.
Yeah.
That's cute.
because it's true.
It's nice to hear.
It is.
Okay.
It's nice to say as well. Love you guys,
Love you
Love
too,
you too.
Johnny.
as
That's
we've
nice.
established before.
Thanks.
So, what's your favorite thing about your significant other?
That she likes me.
Yeah.
I can imagine that's pretty high
Her
on the
tolerance.
list. But what's second on the list next?
That's a pretty impressive one, Nick.
For me, it's like Hannah's strengths are my weaknesses. So she's like so like caring and extra mile kind of person that would do like she's a nurse, right? So she's naturally just a caring person, and I'm not to say I don't care, but like I find it harder to like
Give a fuck.
I don't know. I don't want to put it like that. Like, because I
Sympathise?
think I consider myself like a good friend and caring friend. But Hannah's caring for people she has nothing like
Yeah.
doesn't
You need to
know
invest-
doesn't like
So
have any
Yeah.
no obligation to like
Yeah.
go the extra mile, and she'll do it for them. And that's like something that like I admit that I'm not good at, and I would aspire to take that from her. Or even just like she goes out and does things like that. Like she had a friend in Colac, which is a good hour from our house, who was painting, and she had a day off, so she drove down there to help them paint. And it's like I just would sit at home playing video games on my day off. Like I'm not the kind of person that's just gonna do that kind of thing. And I still think that I'm a good friend to people in other ways, and like, you know, I'll be there for people when they really need me. But I think it's that caring nature that she has that I admire.
I think my favourite thing is her boobies.
Yeah.
No, I like...
That's always good.
Two zingers,
My
Nick.
My favourite thing is that she's so strong and independent that she can pretty much deal with everything herself.
She doesn't need you.
Pretty much, yeah. She doesn't need me at all. I hold her back, I think.
It's like that Blink. It's like the Blink song Josie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah,
that
great
song.
song.
Yeah.
I think that's my favorite.
Cut it in here, Ash.
Second
Okay.
favorite Blink song.
I would like, in an effort not to say the same thing as Jono, because I think Claire and Hannah might be relatively similar on that front. The amount that they go out of their way to care and make extra effort that I certainly don't do at times. Probably my favourite thing, and a thing that is actually quite inspiring, is her courage and her bravery. That sort of, it's very inherent, but when I stop to think about it, sometimes it's really something else. Like she's had cancer twice, and beaten it twice, and is still more concerned when she's been sick about everyone else and about how her family feel, and how and anything but herself. Like the things that she's going through is not an issue, if there's something she can be doing for others, which is it's inspiring, and I do love her very much for that.
That's cool. I just thought of a better example than painting the house.
Please tell me it's cooking you dinner every night,
No, like
because I refrain from
That's
saying
true.
that.
most people when they finish high school, they'll either, if they don't go straight to uni, they'll take off a year and work and save up heaps of money, or they'll go on holidays and do that kind of thing.
Take a
Hannah
year
spent
off
the-
and drink a lot of money.
Yeah, some people do that. But Hannah spent the whole year volunteering in Melbourne, working with homeless people for Salvation Army, which she even now thinks back and thinks, how the hell did I do that? Because it's like so crazy, and the kinds of stuff that they had to put up with and deal with. But like that's something where she did the whole year and didn't make any money that year, apart from, I guess, at the tail end of the summer. But
Did the Salvation Army give you like room and board or something for that?
Yeah,
Or?
yeah. So that it's like a house that there was like, it just happened to be all women that year. It's not like a female program, but it was like 7 or 8 women all living together. And some of those people she's still great friends with. But there was a lot of things that I don't think were run particularly well. The Salvos do great work, but there was that particular program might have had some issues that year. But they did a lot of great work, and yeah, like Salvos paid for they gave them a certain amount of money for food and that kind of thing, so that they didn't have to have a second job or anything. But they certainly didn't make any money. No.
What about you, Jack? What's your favourite thing about Sal?
Oh, very similar to Tom and Jono. We all seem to have fantastic partners, which is good, I guess. They have to be to put up with us.
It's almost as if women are more nurturing and caring than men.
I know. How about that?
Sexist.
I said almost.
The thing I love most about Sal is her selflessness. She's the most selfless person I've ever met in my entire life. Like, will never ever put herself before anyone. Will go like out of her way to inconvenience herself to make sure she doesn't put, like, if there's something happening, she will like put herself so far out just to make sure that she doesn't inconvenience anyone else. Like, she's always thinking of other people. She's a fantastic mother to William, like, amazing. She's just, yeah, she's great. She's
giving up her house for Extra Life.
Yeah,
she's
yeah, and like in all, and like, not to even be making a joke, but she can, like, she's put up with me and my bullshit, and like supported me through difficult times, and like when, like, obviously when Dad passed away, it was really hard, and she was just like there, like whatever I needed, she was like there, like all the way, like lead up to the funeral, all that stuff. Like, she's just amazing. So yeah, she's just a really good person.
Okay, well, to flip that question on its head, what do you think your significant other likes about you the most?
Not one thing.
There has to be a reason Stacey sticks around, Nick.
It's my dick.
Beard.
I would, from the top of my head, say that I quite frequently make her laugh, and I think she likes that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, like, I'm just
She's
happy
told
to
me.
be just a doofus, just to put a smile on her face, and I hope that's something that she appreciates. And when she finally listens back to this, she's welcome to correct me if I'm wrong.
Tweet at Explosion Pod on Twitter.
She doesn't
He's
have
wrong.
Twitter, and we live together, actually, so she could probably just say it to me on Facebook.
Yeah, but we need to know too.
But we want to know.
Well, I'll tell you.
Okay, good. What about you, Jono? What does Hannah like about you best, do you think?
Don't know. Like, I know that there would be a lot of things, otherwise she wouldn't have married me.
Is it your
But-
Rocky poster?
No, I don't think she likes it that much.
Oh. That's a shame.
That's why it's in this room, and
This
not
room.
in the other rooms of the house that she actually spends time in. Well, I can say something that she seems to really appreciate, because it's so different from her, is my creative abilities, like as a writer and I guess musician and podcasting, and all the kinds of stuff that I'm always talking about on Twitter and everything.
I was hoping you would say known for.
I wouldn't go as far as saying
That blue tick next to his name, it just gets her going.
Yeah. But it's almost like the way that I talked about her caring, and like Jack said, selflessness. Like, that side of her is especially impressive to me, because I don't have it. But to her, she often says, like, I don't know how you do this, and she doesn't know how she ended up with someone with my interests, like as a nerd, and my skills as a wordsmith, because it's so not what she had ever pictured. So I guess the fact that we're so different from each other,
Do you know what she pictured?
makes us,
Did she picture herself a farm
I think
boy
it
or
was
something
like,
that? Because she's
someone. She grew up on a farm, but
Yeah.
so I think she pictured like a surfy guy, or someone that was really outdoorsy, because she loves like nature and hiking and snowboarding and that kind of thing. So she probably pictured someone a bit more like that.
someone who would lead the way as opposed to follow reluctantly.
Basically, yeah.
I'll do
Probably
your
not
activities
someone,
too.
Probably not someone that would, attempt to write a novel or like
Or
spend their
podcast
weekend.
like three however many nights a week. Yeah.
You say attempt to write a novel. I feel like you did that relatively successfully.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
okay then. Publish a novel then.
Yep. What about you, Jack?
I honestly cannot think of anything that she like.
Come on, man.
No, I seriously can't.
Come on.
I'll ask her and I'll let you know.
What about your
Okay,
beard?
we'll wait.
She's probably. She's probably.
Opens the door. Sal, what's the one thing you like about
Hold
me?
on. No, there's people here. I don't. That'll be embarrassing.
Do it.
All the more reason.
I'm
Do
sure
it.
Jack, she has said something to you before. Like, and if she doesn't, I could say some nice things about you.
Yeah, you,
I'm sure
you,
she
you
likes.
go. Maybe you go, and then I'm quite self-loathing, so it's hard to think of things that people might like about me.
I think that she would be attracted to your confidence and your as much as you might clash, like your like self-assuredness and believe, like you're very convicted in what you believe, and I think that they're good qualities that a woman such as Sal might appreciate. Like, you're obviously a good father. She wouldn't have known that at the start, but she probably saw that you had that potential.
I was going to say she'd probably now say you're a doting father or something like that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that too. Yeah, I just thought it's actually like she'd probably say my passion would probably be the thing if I was just to nail it down to one thing. It'd probably be that. So yeah, thank you, Johnny. You that appreciate the kind words,
It's all right.
and you, Tom.
Yeah, and you, Nick, just that you make a laugh, or
Yeah, probably.
yeah, that's the
I
thing.
guess. Let's go with that.
Yeah,
That's hard, isn't it?
It's hard
I
to
know,
it's hard to
it's-
say like, oh, this is what they
Yeah.
like about me, but yeah, we tried.
Yeah,
because you're always. I imagine you're always insecure about whether.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I should ask her that question
Switching-
because honestly, I would like. Yeah, I don't know.
That's why you get married, Jack, so they can do their vows and they can say like,
Yeah.
how much you mean to them.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
So, how different is it being married to when before you were married?
Probably
For you?
not. That's why you don't need to.
No different.
Oh, well,
Just a whole
actually.
lot less money than what I had beforehand.
You've had less time. Oh, I guess there's heaps of people. That,
Yeah, you've probably been married longer than you were not married.
No. I've been married for 2 years. We've been together for 5.
Okay.
I thought you said.
Well, Jono.
Oh,
has-
What?
no,
He
because
was-
you proposed.
he
No,
was
because
en-
he proposed.
he was
Proposed
engaged.
after
You had a
2
long
years,
engagement.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Jono
was-
proposed and
yeah,
got married the next weekend.
Yes, there is a gap between proposal and wedding. For me, it's huge difference because we didn't live together,
Of course.
and it's been like we never had any arguments before we were married. Actually, no, we didn't have any arguments until we had marriage counselling, which is what you do like pre-marriage counselling. Sorry, which is where you sit down with the person usually with the person that's going to
Oh,
marry
that's going to
you.
do the vows and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and they just do like a bit of like, are your expectations of marriage aligned, and have you discussed all these different things you have to consider before you get married because they're important.
Life
And
insurance.
Yeah, it's more about your relationship than legal things, I guess. But we established there that Hannah wasn't really like expressing herself, like she wasn't expressing
language.
Yeah, she wasn't telling me when she was upset with something or unhappy with something I was doing. So she started speaking her mind after that, and we've had a lot more.
Wow. So what was the first thing she told you she was upset about?
It was probably like I play too much video games or some crap like that. I can't remember.
And then you never got away with doing anything ever again.
Yeah, but it's good. Like we communicate fairly well, and like when you live with someone and expect the best from them, you're gonna fall short a lot, and you're gonna disappoint each other and have arguments and miscommunicate. But it's about just making sure that they're always resolved, and you're doing your best to make sure that you understand each other, I guess.
Word.
What about you, Nick? What was the difference between being married and not married?
About $8,500.
It's pretty
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah, that's not
Pretty
not
cheap.
bad going.
Yeah, we try to do it on the cheap as possible. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I would honestly say there's no difference, to be honest. Other than, like, our dynamic never changed. Other than the great day that we had in the holiday, I wouldn't say there's any difference at all, to be honest.
So you would not recommend marriage to Tom and Jack?
No, like, it's nice to say that you're married, but, like, it's not the end
It's
of
funny,
the world. Especially not these days.
Yeah, I was having the conversation with...
Especially when people already live together and have kids. It's
Exactly
like
right.
not the same.
I was having the conversation with my little brother yesterday. He's like, "Why don't you get married?" I'm like, "Have you got to spare like 30 grand or whatever to have a wedding?" Like, you know,
Yes.
It's like if you do, give it to me, and I'll get married. But no, it's like as far because then he asked the question. He's like 16 or whatever, so he doesn't really know like stuff like that. She's like, "So what's the difference?" I'm like, "We might as well be married. Like as other than the certificate, the ring, and a party." Or as far as legality goes, we might as well be married. Like we've lived together, we own a house together, like we own a child. We have a child together. Yeah. We have dogs. I think it's like if you live together for 3 months, you have the same rights as a married couple. So
De facto, yeah.
De facto.
I think the
3
only
months?
thing is if they die, then you don't have the same rights.
yeah, possibly,
I think. Which is why we're having a
Plebiscite.
I keep saying that word wrong.
That's all right.
But
These things happen. It's a stupid word.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. We shouldn't be.
It's a
We
stupid
shouldn't be
thing,
having
yeah.
to say
They
it.
should just-
Yeah. They should just let
Yeah.
them get married. Just let them get married. Why do we have to vote about it? Anyway, that's another topic for another day.
I feel like that's already been a topic, hasn't it?
It has been a topic.
Yeah, it has been a
It was a
topic.
topic for
Episode
a past day.
It was Ash's last
27.
topic.
Episode 27. Check it out. It was
It was
good.
a good time.
Less people. So what's something you wish you'd known about relationships that you would tell your younger self now?
I would have far much less time for myself.
Yeah.
My dad once gave me a bit of advice. He came. We were sitting. I came home and he was sitting out in like the carport having a cigarette, and I walked up to him, and he looked frazzled, and I'm like, "What's going on with you?" He's like, "Oh, it's your mother." Like, he's had an argument with mum or something like that. I'm like, "What happened?" He's like, just women, mate, women. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, one day, you will understand. He said, you will, when you have a partner and you live with them and you're married or whatever and you have kids and you've been with someone for as long as I've been together with your mum, he's like, you will understand. And he didn't even tell me what it was. He's like, you will understand. He said, and you will come to me one day and you will say, Dad, I understand. And it's like, Dad, I understand.
Jack's dad, I understand.
Yes.
Yeah. What was that day like?
It gave me a chuckle because I think obviously it was some sort of frustration that I was having, and then I went, I get it. Yep, Dad. Yep, I understand.
What about you, Tom? What do you wish you'd known about relationships before?
He's thinking.
Yeah, I don't know if I've got anything, to be honest. I think if I were to tell my younger self something, but it's equally reminding myself now, is always keep making the effort. It's very easy to just fall into a routine, and you get home and you sit on the couch together and watch TV, or you play a game and she watches something on the iPad and nothing much happens, and you go to bed and rinse and repeat. It's quite easy for that to happen, which is no fun for anyone involved, as far as a relationship goes, because she's probably enjoying a TV show and I'm probably enjoying whatever I'm playing. But yeah, it isn't. It isn't much of a relationship if you never actually make an effort to do things together and
Just a roommate with benefits.
yeah. If you don't like switch off to engage with them.
Yeah, something that I still am not doing well.
How many years is it now?
It's 4 years. So I wouldn't just tell my younger self, but I need to remind myself now.
Yeah, I can.
Is to like
Guilty of that
give
as well.
to give full
We all
attention. Like it's so easy to be like, yeah, I'm listening, but I'm also in the group chat with all you mugs at the same time,
Yeah.
trying to
Yeah.
organise something, and or I'm playing a game when she's trying to tell me about something that happened at work, and you need to just like give people your full attention,
Yeah.
and show them that they're, that you respect what they have to say. And Hannah's going to hear this podcast and like laugh because I will have just not done this, and she's been telling me to do it for years. But
Sorry, did you say something, Jono?
sorry,
Did you say something?
I missed
I
that.
like little things that I think of, like if she goes out to get a coffee that's just down the road, and she'll only be gone for 2 minutes, but instead of just sort of going bye as she walks out, like if I'm watching something or playing something, I'll pause it and maybe I'll get up or maybe I'll still be sitting down, but I'd like actually look and say bye and give her a kiss and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, because it's quite easy to just be wrapped up in your own little world, but actually it's your little world, sort of the two of you together, or maybe three if you've got a William.
Yeah. Not everybody has William.
No.
But
It's true.
no. What are the other important things to remember in a relationship? Like, say, for example, should you remember what your partner's clothing size is?
T-shirt
No.
size.
Yeah? T-shirt
that's
size?
important.
No?
No, not important.
Not
There's-
important?
The thing I've learned is that t-shirt sizes don't matter because each different make
Yeah,
of
yeah.
t-shirt is a different size.
Clothing
and that size.
vouchers. Clothing. Do not buy clothes for your significant other. Buy clothing
Yep.
vouchers. They will appreciate it 1,000% more. I swear
There
to
is
God.
Birthday and
money to
Christmas
purchase
is a
clothes.
Every birthday and Christmas is a Peter Alexander gift card.
Yeah, or Just Jane's for sale. She loves Just Jane's. I think things to remember is to like important things. Like you can say stuff like
Listen.
Yeah, listen. That's definitely one.
That's a big thing I get chipped on.
Yeah, I think all men do. I think it's just a systematic problem with us. We're broken in that way.
We're distracted.
Yeah, we're distracted. Probably to just like pulse check, make sure that you're both on the same page, that things are still like you both, because things can happen. Like Tom said, you can get into ruts, you can get into routines, and stuff just moves along, and it's like, yeah, whatever, and you think that everything's okay, but just double check that they're still okay and that they're happy, because they might not be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing what you can, like, the stories you hear about people's relationships that have failed and they had no idea that it wasn't working until one day one of them just says, I'm out of here.
Catch you later.
Because they let it get to that point where it was a routine and one person had an issue with it that they didn't express, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like as the wise man Tim Geddes always says, communication.
Nailed it.
Talk to each other. Make sure, like I said, pulse check that shit, but just communicate. Be honest and open about shit if you got issues.
And Sal's
One
going to
thing
be
I
like,
know-
why the fuck don't you communicate?
No, I'm a good communicator. That is one thing. I'm probably too honest. If anything.
There's a communication sweet point and you're still working to find
Yeah. I'm trying to find it. It'll be there somewhere. There's a few sweet points I'm trying to
One
work
thing
towards.
I learnt in marriage counselling was to
Again, the
give
pre-count,
them-
the pre-wedding thing?
yeah to give them their love language, because different people have different expressions of love. Jono would know this. Like my love language is touch.
Physical
Like I
touch.
like being touched and held and whatnot. Where Stacey's is quality time, where I'm quite happy to like be I'm my own little world, or just sit there and just chill out. Where she likes to spend quality time together, mostly. Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. You have to understand that people don't express it the same way as you, and that means that they don't want to receive it the same way that you want to
Yeah.
receive it.
Yeah.
Phrasing.
I don't want to receive it the same way.
Yeah, Tommy.
Oh, God. So rounding out the show, what advice do you have to single guys like me, Dylan, and Kieran?
Show me a dick.
How can we find love?
Tinder wasn't a thing when I was
Yeah,
single.
Tinder.
Thank goodness.
You need to put yourself out. Like the only thing you can do is put yourself out there, because no one's gonna just. Like, it very rarely happens. People are just gonna fall in your lap. Maybe that's not
Unless
true.
she's a stripper.
Unless she's a stripper. In which case, wife her. No. Just get like if you haven't found someone, do something different. You know, put yourself out there, meet people, put yourself in situations that you wouldn't normally put yourself in, make yourself uncomfortable, and you will find
Show
someone.
them your dick.
And show them your dick. Always. 80% of the time, it works 100% of the time.
I don't think that math checks out.
It has to be in person because dick pics don't work.
Oh, yeah, dick pics. Don't do dick pics.
Yeah. My advice would actually be to make sure that you are right with yourself before you bring someone else into a relationship with you, if that makes sense. Like, if you're still trying to figure out who you want to be, if you're still trying to figure out who you are, it's going to be really hard for someone else to understand that as well, which is often why these like teenage relationships don't work out, or people that start dating in, you know, high school or whatever, or they meet at uni and then things change. Like, when you're still changing so much as a person, it can be really difficult to manage a relationship through all those changes. And that's one of the reasons that I was so sure that things would work with Hannah, was because she was like so strong in who she was at that point. Even though she was young, I could just tell, like, she wasn't like into party scene or anything like that. She was the kind of, I could, like, even now 5 years after I met her, her personality hasn't really changed at all, really. So yeah, I think you just need to, if you've got like confidence issues, or if you've got issues with, you know, who you are as a person, like, you need, I think it's good to do what you can to be happy with who you are before you expect someone else to do that. And I hope that's, like, there might be people out there that think that's terrible advice, because you might never get to a point where you're completely 100% confident with yourself, and that might actually be someone else that helps you with that.
Yeah, that's what I was sort of going to say, is that you might actually find someone who helps you find who you want to be.
Yeah, I guess it depends.
Help you grow, I guess.
Yeah, but that I don't think you can rely on someone else to do that for you. Like, you can't be like, as soon as I get a relationship, that'll sort out all my problems, because the times that I've known people who've tried that, or thought that was the missing piece from their life, it wasn't. So, I mean, everyone's going to be different. So ultimately, with any advice, you have to pick and choose what works for you, because my advice and Jack's advice and probably these other guys, they might clash, and they might resonate with you, and they might not.
What about you, Tom? What advice do you have?
Well, I think once you're, and it's not an explicitly a you, Dylan and Kieran thing, but a general thing.
General.
It's a general you, not a you specifically. Like, I think there's it's like, you watch movies and there's always like the goofy guy or the nerdy guy or something goes and talks to somebody and just they laugh, the girls laugh and turn around and don't even pay attention or something. And people in the real world don't actually do that. And I think there's easy things you can do to like build your confidence to just talking to strangers. Like a smile, like smiling to everybody as you're like walking down the street, as opposed to being in your own world. And then eventually you'll say hello to a couple of people, and hello might move into you've walked past, not necessarily like walked past, but you've had some kind of interaction with somebody that looks nice, and you get to a point where you say, hey, you're quite cool, can I see you outside of this current situation, or something like that. Like, I mean, like,
smooth.
It's probably an element of being like young and arrogant, but an element of trying to do that as well. Like, be confident in just talking to people, like I had in the year between old girlfriend and getting with Claire. Just throw yourself out there, because the worst thing that's going to happen is you're just a little bit embarrassed. And then once you do it to yourself, once you embarrass yourself enough times, you just stop embarrassing yourself.
Yeah.
And you just feel all right about talking to people. And I probably got that like working in a bar as well, just forcing that kind of interaction until it became relatively natural and normal. Yeah.
Cool. So my takeaway from that is embarrass yourself until you're immune to being embarrassed. Is that
Nailed
that fair call?
I think that's a fair call.
No shame.
Yeah, I think
And that's under the assumption that like talking to somebody out of the blue would embarrass you. Like there's a girl at the movies, like the theater that you're always going to, that you think is cute, but you never say anything more than one ticket to a particular movie or something. Like, yeah. And you've read her name badge, but you never say it. Just start using her name, or something like that. Or
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, confidence is a massive thing, and fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
And it's not being confident to a point of being arrogant. It's being confident to a point where you are comfortable in yourself. So it's like a self-belief sort of confidence, as opposed to I rule the world and or deserve this sort of confidence.
Awesome. So if people want to
Did
get
you
some...
scribe all that down?
I'm going to transcribe all this later and then
Lucky you'll have it
Keep
in
it above
audio
my
form.
bed,
You can just listen
put
back
on
to
my
it.
door.
Love, according to the Explosion Network.
Yep, that's the title of this episode. If people want to get more relationship advice, where can they get you, Tom? Where can they...
You didn't give me long enough to think of something good, so Tom DeBomb 89 on Twitter, TOMDABOM 89.
Everywhere but Snapchat.
If you manage to find my old tagged profile, that'd be a bit of a laugh.
Would your current email be attached to that? You get notifications?
Yeah, probably. Because I've not had one in forever, but I assume if the service still exists, because Tom DeBomb 89 is always my email, apart from the one for my CV.
Good to know. What about you, Jono? Where can people get relationship advice from you?
You can find me on Twitter at Jono himself, and that's probably it's a good place to ask for advice. I don't think anyone will, but I'm always up for giving advice if anyone wants any.
Is there any love sort of advice in The Spy and the Maven?
No. Deliberately kept romance out of that book.
I am about a third of the way through, so I haven't reached the romancing section yet, obviously.
No spoilers, but
It's not there.
Okay.
Unless you're reading some subtext that I didn't intend.
What about you, Nick? Where can people find you for advice?
On Twitter at Lord and Prior, or alternatively, you can read my weekly column, The Love Guru, at explosionnetwork.com.
Please make that a thing.
Yep. Well, what about you, Jack?
Don't come to me for advice. I've got nothing good. Or you'll just hear... It'll be show you dick.
Who should people tweet if they want to be told to show them your dick?
You can tweet at Cruzy_mate. KRUSEY_mate. MATE.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Cool. And you can follow me on Twitter at Ashley Hobley, ASHLEYHOBLEY. Definitely don't ask me for any advice, because I've got no advice. If you do want more
into
advice...
your DMs, though.
if you want...
Ash is single.
Single and ready to mingle.
Very single.
Part of that's true. You can send us emails if you've got any questions. Mail at explosionnetwork.com. Any questions for the Love Guru? We will set that up.
We already have a guru podcast. We don't need another one.
Love
that's
Expert.
still going.
I don't know. We can workshop the name.
Maybe.
You can follow the show on Twitter at ExplosionPod. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/ExplosionNetwork. You can check out all our YouTube stuff at bit.ly/ExplosionNetwork. Kieran and Dylan just did a good Cuphead review the other day, so check that out. You also go check everything we do out at explosionnetwork.com. Dylan also just did his Blade Runner 2049 review, which is very good.
It is a good review.
Yeah, it's a good review. Very high score.
Oh,
If you're
I was just
interested.
saying, it's a good review. No comment about the movie. Go read for yourself.
Yeah, find out for yourself. And also, if you could give us a review on iTunes for Pleasure Explosion, that'd be really nice. Really helpful.
Always helps.
It all helps.
Tell your friends about us.
Tell your friends. Tell your prospective lovers. Just tell your first date. Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about, guys?
Nope.
Nope. Bye. See you later.
Barbecue time.
Hey, listen, Kieran here. If you haven't heard, the Explosion Network will be streaming for 24 hours and participating in Extra Life on November 4th, raising money for the Sick Kids Centre for Global Child Health. Head on over to explosionnetwork.com/extra life for all the details on how you can help us, including donating, giving us some ideas for challenges, or games you'd like to see us play. October 27th to 29th, apparently PAX Melbourne's happening, and I'm going to be there with Dylan, Ash, and Jono. So feel free to come say hey if you see us on the show floor. Then, there's a disturbance in the Force. On October 27th, we'll be launching a Star Wars podcast in the lead up to Episode 8, The Last Jedi. Of course, our weekly shows will always continue. Pleasure Explosion Mondays, Platinum Explosions on Tuesdays, and Grandstand Gurus Thursdays. All at 12 p.m. Catch our live streams where I like to dwell during the evenings at twitch.tv/Explosion Network, and keep your targets locked on explosionnetwork.com for all our explosive content. Shout out to Bevan.